Welcome to the Sound of Movement podcast. Today we're continuing an epic week of training, motivation and psychology. Today we're going to be talking all about nutrition. We've spoken about motivation and daily habit of exercise. Now today we're going deep on nutrition and good nutrition habits for a lean physique.
Let's rock. If you're new to the tribe, we've got Rich behind the mix and Rad is across the table. My name is Yani Burmeister and we are Unity Gym experts at turning driven people into athletes. This episode is brought to you by the Unify Movement System, the only online program effectively balancing strength, flexibility and fitness so you can unleash your inner athlete. Get daily coaching by us, plus our epic Foundations Prep program and revolutionary structural balance blueprint to create your ideal program and optimize your performance. Remember, Tribe, as a valued listener, use the link in the description and you get your first month free. That's right. All of the coaching, all of the programming, everything. Now, before we get started, big warm welcome. If you are on the live stream in the UMS Movement Mastermind Facebook group, leave a comment and we'll send you back some love. Remember, everyone can join and interact with us live. Lastly, shout out to our YouTube athletes catching the replay. Hit the like button to support the channel and subscribe if you like what you see. What's up, guys?
I'm a little upset at the filter that Richard's using right now. He's definitely using the filter that makes you look much bigger and stronger than I do. And,
I've just realised that I've got the wrong stream in front of me. I'm looking at yesterday's stream.
I need to sit closer to the camera. I'm getting a little bit...
Mate, why haven't I got the... oh, there it is. Yeah, got my badass beanie on and my singlet. I've just come straight off a workout, and once my body cools down a bit, I will be getting dressed. That's another good reason to come check out the live stream in the UMS Facebook group.
Yani was looking at the wrong stream, wondering why the beanie that he had on his head wasn't showing up on the camera.
It's like, wow, this is an amazing filter. It's showing me yesterday's clothes.
No, look, it's a good show. I mean, I just went and ate my lunch, and I had nothing to eat today. And so what did I do? I went and did my usual thing, and I went down to Woolworths and I grabbed myself some rocket tomato, cucumber. What else did I get? Feta cheese and mung beans and a tin of tuna.
Oh, you got the mung beans.
And that was my, what do they call it? The crunchy salad mix with the legumes and the mung bean, whatever, and the split, whatever it is, peas and stuff like that. Today... I also had a little bit of a treat. There was these veggie, chips that are, I guess they're marketed as health food.
They're absolutely not.
They're rubbish, but they don't have as many flavorings and additives and numbers and stuff on the back of the packet. They've only got about 4 ingredients on them. But they were on special. They were half price, so I couldn't resist. I got them for $1.90. They're normally like $4 or something. But, the reason I was able to do that and not, for a brief moment, the briefest moment, my mind went to a burger or a burrito or something like that. But it just so quickly came back and I just said, I'm not eating that shit. It's Monday, it's Thursday here. I got to eat good food. It's not the weekend. And that's what we want to talk about today. We want to talk about the habits, the healthy habits that we've created within ourselves that Richard, Yani and I have got. That keep us in better shape than most all year round. We certainly wouldn't be stepping up on a physique model stage and winning any contest. Maybe Richard might.
Speak for yourself. Speak for yourself.
But
look, the reality is that with exception to, like, if I go to Europe for a month and I eat croissants in Paris for 3 weeks or something like that, and you put on a few kilos. With the exception of just like absolute all bets are off moments, we maintain the same physique all year round, and it's usually sub 10% body fat for all of us. I can't say the same for myself in the last 12 months because I became an alcoholic during lockdown. But the reality is that we maintain a very healthy lean physique, and most people would call it dieting. We call it lifestyle because it has become our lifestyle, and it's only an intervention when you're getting started, and then it becomes normal, and you just have to get it to that point where it's normal, and that's why we like to say, diets don't really work. Don't diet. Change your lifestyle, and do it incrementally. Layer it on just like your exercise programming so that it's not too radical and hard to adhere to, and then rip into it. It's always fun to overindulge in food and alcohol and whatever else. It's fun and it's easy, and it's very tempting. And so you've got to find ways of obviously preventing it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just like what we were talking about yesterday with exercise habits. It's habits that you create. It's it's routines that you create for yourself. And I think one of the most important things that people need to understand about nutritional habits is it blows my mind when people talk to me about how they want to lose fat or get in shape. And then you see what they put in their own supermarket trolley. Like you see the snacks that people put in, and the bickies and the ice cream and the whatever. And I don't keep that stuff at home. And the reason I don't keep it is because if it's there, I eat it. Like the other night, Alana bought some chocolate for the first time in, I swear to God, I don't even know how long. Like she's healthier than I am when it comes to food. I will fall off the rails or I'll treat myself on the weekends a lot more than she does. And she had this, so I opened the fridge and there was this block of chocolate in there. I hadn't seen that in a long time. And I ate like 2 rows of it immediately. I was, chocolate, I'm going to get into that. If there was chocolate in my home regularly, I wouldn't look the way that I do. No, I wouldn't be in the shape that I am. And I know that. So I never, ever buy anything except real food. And if you want to know what I mean by real food, fruit, meat, vegetables, salad, yogurt, maybe nuts, like real food.
And some, like I always have a couple of different types of rice in my house.
Yeah, we've got that.
White rice and brown rice.
Yeah, for cooking, if you need to.
I even have backup bags of pasta.
Yep,
because we've got the kids, and every once in a while I make them spaghetti and stuff like
me
that.
As well, yeah.
But what we're talking about here is the stuff in between. Now, I'll give you an example, and
hang on, let me finish because I didn't finish my point. The point is that if you've got that stuff there, people say, I really got to stop doing this. I got to stop. Well, how are you going to stop if it's in your house? Yeah. Because the moment when you go in to the kitchen because you're feeling hungry, you're feeling that craving, and often that happens when you don't even need food, right? Like often you just eat a big meal, but you haven't had any sugar or any sweets or anything, and you go in the kitchen looking for something else. What are you going to do if it's there? Because I go through those moments all the time.
Yeah,
I go through those moments where you open the fridge and you think, there's nothing here to eat. Well, there's heaps there. It's just that I'm not going to prepare it all. There's a whole thing of veggies and there's meat and eggs and whatever, but there's nothing that I can just grab and put in my mouth right now. If at that moment there was Tim Tams or shit like that, guess what? It'd be getting eaten,
I've got this hectic thing going on right now where, as per every year, you end up with too many Easter eggs. And I didn't eat an Easter egg over Easter. I didn't touch a bit of chocolate over Easter. But my father, God bless him, brought a whole bag of Easter eggs over for my kids. And we'd already given them enough chocolate, so we just put them in the cupboard. And so I got this brown paper bag stacked full of Easter eggs. And every night that I go to and then next to it, I've got this 75% or 70% dark chocolate that's very low in sugar. And that's like my little treat at night. If I'm really struggling, I have an orange. And if I'm still struggling, I have a little 20-gram piece of that chocolate. And it's sitting right next to the frickin' bag of Easter eggs, this milky goodness. And I've been really good so far. I've only had like one of them, but it's so hard. It's a battle, Now, here's the thing, and what we need to say straight up. It's only partially your fault if you're consuming this crap all the time, because this food is heavily engineered to be appealing to the human brain, to trigger dopamine and to make you feel good and to give you to trigger your reward mechanism in the brain that makes you feel good momentarily. Even the food that Rad went and ate that he claimed was the healthier version this morning, those chips, they're heavily engineered to be quick, easy, and appealing, and they do. Most of these foods, whether you know it or not, have salt and sugar and fat in a very strategic combination so that it appeals to your body. And so when it's around you all the time, it is extremely difficult to say no. And that's for Rad, Richard, and myself. So God helps someone who's not as diligent as we are or not as focused as we are, doesn't have the training mindset and psychology that we have, where we prioritize our health, we prioritize how our body performs and feels, and we know really, really well how those types of food affect us. You don't stand a chance.
Yep.
And here's the thing, shock horror. There is zero room for that shit in your diet if you want to have a lean physique. Zero. Goose egg. There is no room for it. If we ate it, we would be fat.
Yep.
The amount that we exercise. I've just come off a 2-hour workout, and we do that every day,
Yeah,
6 days a week.
If we ate that
If
shit.
we ate that shit every night, we would be fat.
Yeah.
I'm telling you now, you cannot out-train that, even if you are an absolute beast, you know. Now, I get up in the morning and I do an hour of cardio first thing in the morning, and that's now that's changing a bit because I've got my kids a couple of days a week on my own. But it is really important that you guys understand this. Unless you are a bodybuilder who is doing 3-hour balls to the wall, break your body workouts every day, there's very little room for that. And even if there is, you're probably going to struggle to stay below 12% body fat. 12 or 13%, which is just being able to see your abs a little bit, not defined, not what you see on the cover of Men's Health magazine, none of that crap.
I don't reckon there's even bodybuilders that do that and stay lean that aren't having testosterone.
Well, probably no, there's not. That's a good point.
You think about it,
they're having
man.
exogenous hormones which help, that's like a
Which help
turbocharger for your metabolism.
Because you think about it, there have been times when you and I have worked at that level of a bodybuilder and worked really, really hard for periods of time and still had to eat ridiculously clean to get down to even 8% body fat, you just can't do it. And so that's the first thing. The first thing is that you've got to understand how your psychology works. And I mean, I remember this all the time. I remember having we used to do weight loss at Unity Gym. I'm so grateful that we don't do it anymore because I am so tired of having these conversations with people when we would have people in tears saying, I just can't lose weight. I'm at the gym 5 days a week and I can't do it. And you dig deeper into it and you find out that they're eating dinner and then they're going to the cupboard at about 8:30 or 9 at night when the kids are asleep and then eating half a packet of Tim Tams.
The story I wanted to share just now when you wouldn't let me interrupt you so graciously was my experience recently with my family. I just spent a few weeks with my family and my mother, God bless her, is trying really hard to lose weight. She's working out. She goes to her gym. She does a couple of personal training sessions a week, 2, and then she does at least 1 class, like a group class like we do at Unity, and it's a good class. I watched a couple of them. They're really getting them working. They're doing proper strength training. And then she goes for a walk, like a long, vigorous walk every morning with a friend of hers, and it's full on, like she's really going for it. And for a woman who's in her mid-60s, that's a lot of exercise, and God bless her, she eats really healthy food. Every breakfast, lunch and dinner that I saw her eat, you would class as very healthy. She even spends a ridiculous amount of money on everything being top level. She doesn't buy the crap. She buys all the good stuff. A lot of it's like the vegan friendly versions of mayonnaise and things like that, that I just go, God damn it, get some mayonnaise in the house. She really does well with the food preparation. Yep. Where she falls over is the shit that she eats in between that. And she's totally in denial of it. But every single night there's a Magnum or there's some piece of junk food. And then there's a copious amount of alcohol being consumed at night,
Yeah, and
which is a very common routine for people. They eat, they come to the gym, they work hard, they eat really well, they do what they're told with diet and nutrition, but then they mess it all up with the stuff that they do in between. And they're completely delusional about it. They're completely in denial about how much they're actually consuming. Now, when you look at it from a caloric standpoint, it's an immense amount of calories that you're consuming in between your meals. And there's just no offsetting that. You cannot out-train that. And I sort of tried to explain that to her, she's like, why aren't I losing weight? This is so ridiculous. I'm training so consistently. I'm just not moving the weight. It's got to be my hormones. It's got to be this. And yes, when you're at that age, hormones play a role because hormones diminish your drive, your motivation to go and do things, you know. But they do stack the odds against you. But there's a lot more that you could be doing, you know, and you could, like, there's so much more. I've just put my beanie on inside out. How good's that? Thanks for telling me. Yeah, look, and it's a real shame because you try and tell people and they just don't get it. They're just in denial. And this is why we were talking about psychology first as part of the motivation topic, you know. Because if you don't conquer your psychology and the bullshit you're feeding yourself about what you're eating and what you're doing, you're in for a real hard struggle.
Everything that you've just said is why we put motivation first, because you've got to be really clear on why you're doing it and on how important this stuff is for you. And if you just say to yourself, I want to lose weight, I'm so sick and tired of not losing weight. In my experience, you're not going to get there. It's not going to happen. It's going to be the hamster wheel that so many people talk about. I just uploaded a video to YouTube, which was an insight from one of our shows a little while ago about how to, you know, prevent rebounding when you lose fat. It's something that we talk about all the time. And because everything that we've just described is really, really hard to do. It's much harder than exercising daily. And it's way harder than getting clear on your motivation. And so that's why those two steps come first. And it's that clarity of motivation that allows you to push through the hardship, because fuck me, it is hard. It is so bloody hard to do what we're doing here, to break bad nutrition habits. Like the way that these foods that Yani was speaking about before, this combination of sugar, fat and salt, the way that it's engineered and put together, it stimulates dopamine in your brain on the same kinds of levels as things like cocaine and heroin. So you're literally fighting like a drug addict. Like that's what you're fighting against. And that's why, like, you've got to recognize that. That's why you might find yourself at home crying, wondering why you're not losing weight and being so pissed off at yourself. Well, the first thing you've got to do is make this this realization of what it is that you're battling, and then understand the level that you're going to need to go to. I loved this analogy that somebody said ages ago, which relates really well to this. So we've just told you that the foods that you're consuming that are preventing, that you're keeping at home in your cupboard for when you feel like a snack, is like having drugs for a drug addict. Imagine somebody who was a heroin addict saying to you, I'm going to quit heroin. I've really had it. I'm tired of doing it every day. I'm tired of what it's doing for my life. I'll just keep a little bit in the cupboard in case I want it at some, you know, like it'll just be there for whenever. How long do you think that person's going to last before they go to the cupboard, you know? And that's what you're doing to yourself. If you're somebody that's addicted to these foods, and if you're trying to lose fat...
you don't say it like that, because people don't know. They're not knowingly addicted, and they're not going to admit it, you know? But the reality is you are, because it's triggering a hormone and chemical reaction in your brain that you are hardwired to chase. It's the reward combination in the brain. And so we were designed to do things that give us that chemical. That's how we survived. Hunt, gather, build a house, build a cave.
It's even important to understand why we love salt and sugar so much, because our brains are designed to taste salt and sugar and see it as something that we want as much of as we can, because in nature it occurs quite rarely. Like, to find salt in nature, if you went back 10,000 years ago, I mean, you had to lick the rocks, right? Or you had to eat some seafood or something. And sugar was in fruit, and fruit was hard to find, believe it or not, because you're competing against all the animals. Like, the animals are eating all the fruit as well. So to get there when it's ripe, like, it was a big deal, you know? So we're geared to go, oh my God, this is amazing. Let's eat as much of it as we can. Yeah. Food companies figured that out decades ago, and they've been engineering, and what we've now got is, at least in Sydney, I ride to work every morning well before anybody else is up, and there's a convenience store that's there, which you may as well call it a diabetes store, because that's basically what they're selling. They sell diabetes and tampons and lip balm, you know. so funny with these convenience stores. And they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can go there whenever you want.
That's right. Selling diabetes.
And
tampons if you need them. And lip balm. Yeah. And cigarettes. All the, Yeah.
And cigarettes. All the good
stuff. I was going to say, but I don't know if tampons are the good stuff. But,
And lubricant and condoms.
Yeah, that's true too. All the good stuff. It's really, really important that people understand this. And, it's like we battle it ourselves, but it's hardest when you see your family having to deal with this and, asking the same old questions. Why? Why aren't I losing weight? I can fucking tell you why you're not losing weight, because you keep sticking shit in your mouth that your body doesn't actually need or want. You're just playing into an addiction that you have to overcome. And so how do we do it? Let's get really, really practical now. We talk about the dieting for a lean physique. The absolute number one starting point, no one can argue with, is to remove as much processed, engineered food from your bloody house, your diet, your lifestyle as humanly possible. Now, enjoy it in its moments. When you go out with your friends on the weekend and you're socializing, enjoy some heavily engineered food, whether it's that you go to an a la carte beautiful restaurant and you've got a Michelin star chef engineering the food for you, or whether you go to a Macca's takeout with your friends and you get an engineered burger. Whatever floats your boat, go for it.
But my rule is that when you buy it, you eat it all, and that's it. And whatever you don't eat in that sitting,
that's right.
That's
goes in the bin. That's it. It's your session. That's it.
And
you're going to most likely overconsume in that moment. I went and had a Milky Lane feed with my kids the other day, and that place is phenomenal for overconsumption of calorie-dense food. It is just and the most bizarre thing is that you consume this ridiculous smoothie and burger and fried chicken and all this crap, and you're still hungry. And you're like, how is this humanly possible? I've probably just had 3,000 calories and my brain's going, more, give me more, and so you got to just pry yourself out of the place. And the only reason why you can do it is because that 3,000 calories cost you what you would think 3,000 calories cost you, about $100, and But then that's it. You're done. And then for me, the way I offset that is that I follow a ridiculous debaucherous day like that with a fast. I fast for a day to offset the calories, because otherwise I don't stay lean. I don't exercise as hard as Rad and Richard anymore, or consistently. And so I have to work a little bit harder with my nutrition. And so the first thing is, you've got to reduce the empty calories, the engineered food, because the engineered food, although a calorie is a calorie on a metabolic standpoint and on a thermogenic standpoint, they don't trigger the body's hormones and satiety levels in the same way. And so if the calories are engineered, they usually engineer them by maximizing and really getting the combination of salt, sugar, and fat right, but they minimize the amount of fiber they pretty much remove all the fiber, and so you don't feel satisfied eating it as though you were eating a whole food diet. And that's how it's really easy to overconsume. Plus, on top of all of that, you're not getting all the phytochemicals, nutrients, and all the good stuff that you need from whole foods. So minimize that. Maximize whole foods, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, really good quality meats, and protein. And then what we recommend you do as step 2 is to maximize muscle protein synthesis by eating high bioavailable protein as a priority in every meal. Step 1, step 2. And that needs to be really clear. And then on top of that, the final step that I believe is that you really, really get strategic about how you have cheat meals, how you have your debaucherous feeds. And Rad gave you some really good examples there. First and foremost, get rid of the stuff from your house, so you're not walking into a battle every night when you get home from work and you're starving hungry.
So you have to make a conscious decision to go and do the shit.
Clean out the cupboards.
Because you've got no idea how many times I've battled at home for half an hour or an hour mentally in my mind, but also with my wife, that I'm about going up the road and getting a tub of ice cream. And sometimes I give in and do it. But the amount every time that I actually do it, there'd be at least 5 times where I go through the mental battle and sometimes vocalize it, and then my wife talks me through it, and I don't get it because I have to go up the road and get it. I can't just go to the kitchen and get it. I have to make the choice that at night time, when we're all settling down and getting comfortable, that I'm going to put my shoes on, go out the door, go up the road, go to the shops. And that is hard to do.
Yeah.
So if you're making it easy for yourself, if you're removing that barrier of entry, fuck, you've got no chance.
Yeah. And, in my last apartment, we were like diagonally across the road from the diabetes shop. And it was hard, man. It was hard if you had a bad day, and so I've moved about 100 metres further down the road from the diabetes shop now, which has given me a little bit more of a but there's a big steep hill to walk up to get there. So it's a little bit tougher. Yeah. But I'm pretty good like that. I'm more likely to give in and go and buy a bottle of wine or something like that. So I have to really just zero alcohol, zero junk food. And then, and here's the thing, guys. If you're struggling with this, what you have to do, I believe, is go cold turkey for a month. You got to go cold turkey for a month. You got to lock yourself in hibernation and just get rid of it out of your house and don't touch it. You got to get through, because your gut microbiome will recultivate itself in about 3 or 4 days. And then over the next 14 days, all of the bad bacteria that really, really thrived on that crappy food you were eating will start to die off and dissipate and disappear. And yes, you feel a little bit shit. You'll get food cravings. Make sure that you're really good with your eating throughout that period so you don't make yourself too hungry, because you'll really struggle when you're hungry. And then after about 21 to 28 days, all of a sudden, you just stop craving it. You just stop craving those foods, and it becomes really, really easy. And same with alcohol. You stop craving alcohol. For me, alcohol takes a month or two to really stop wanting it, because it's just so many social draw cards, people going for drinks, inviting you out, doing this. And then watch what happens to your physique. Watch what happens to your physique if you focus on step 1 and 2, prioritizing whole foods and minimizing processed foods, prioritizing building your diet around bioavailable protein. You can Google what that means. And then you just watch what happens. It's just shocking, Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. All right, guys, hope you got something out of that. If you are from our UMS online coaching group, jump over to that group now. We're going to be doing your live daily coaching call.
Send Lucio Rosato some love. He's said hello here on the live stream.
Hey, Lucio. We'll see you in a minute, mate, over in that online coaching group.
Yep. And big warm welcome to everyone who's just bought the Flexibility Masterclass bundle or flash sale that we had going over the weekend. There was quite a few people that jumped on that. Well done. That was a cracking offer. You're going to love that program. If you are in this group and you just grabbed that, let us know. Introduce yourself. Tell us that you're getting started on it. Ask questions, all of that sort of cool stuff. And we will see you all tomorrow.
See you guys.